Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how I tint my eyebrows at home. I have been doing this for a couple years now. I feel like I have finally got my routine down pat. I do this about every 2 to 3 weeks just because I find it easier to have it done so that when I'm getting ready in the morning I can just use a clear brow gel, and I feel like it just makes everything go so much faster. So I'm going to go wash my face and then I will I have this little bag that I just put everything I use for tinting at home. So I like to use the Reflectocil line. I've used this for a long time. I've used this for about maybe 5 or 6 years now. Right now I have the cream developer. In the past I've always used the liquid one, but I find the cream one, it works exactly the same. And honestly, it's a little easier to store and mix. The liquid one started leaking after a while, which obviously isn't good, but it was fine because it's all contained in the bag anyways. So for the dye, I use the same product, the Reflectocil. I use number 3, the brown natural. So I do equal parts of the cream developer and the dye. So I'm gonna go in with the dye first into the little cup. I do this mainly, I do it in my bathroom. On the counter, I just lay down a paper towel just because I don't want the dye to touch the counter because it's done that before and it left a little bit of a stain. So I have a little paper towel kind of set up to catch anything that drips. So I'm gonna take my little shot glass looking thing. I'm gonna put just a small amount of dye. So I'm gonna put that back into my little bag, and I'm gonna grab my developer, and I'm just gonna do equal amounts. So I don't know if you can see, but it is just equal amounts of the developer and the dye. So now I'm gonna go in with my little spoolie brush on one end and the angle on the other, and I'm just gonna mix up the dye and the developer. Okay, so that's mixed. I am gonna wipe off the excess. So I have a mirror down here. That's what I'm looking at. I don't want to mess this up too much. I don't want to have dye everywhere. So I'm gonna brush up my eyebrow hairs. And then I am gonna take that Rosebud Vaseline salve and kind of just go around the edge of my eyebrows. So since I started dyeing my brows at home, I have used several different products. I used to use the Just for Men, the beard dye, and that totally worked fine. I just find this one, it's exactly what it's for, and I get way more use out of the product than the Just for Men. So I'm gonna take the dye on my eyebrows and I'm just gonna lightly lay it into where my hairs are. Now this is straight dye, so it will dye everything. I feel okay getting it out of line a little down there when I'm initially laying it, and then I'll show you how I kind of fix that up. I just like to kind of lightly take a little and press it into my brow to make sure it's getting all of the hairs, not just the top row. As you can see, it's all over the place. So I take a Q-tip and I run it around the lines and clean it up. Like that. So we're gonna do the other side. And sorry if I keep looking to the side, I'm trying to figure out exactly where it is in different mirrors. Okay, so we're gonna just repeat the same thing on this side. So with my eyebrows, I have a lot of regrowth underneath, and I want those hairs to have the color deposit onto them. So it goes kind of low, but I feel like that washes off when I'm taking the dye off. So I haven't noticed it have any issue. So with the excess in my little shot glass thing, I'm just gonna kind of go over any bare spots I find and just leave a thicker layer of the dye. Okay, so now that the dye is applied to the brows, I'm gonna let it sit for 5 minutes and then I will be right back. Okay, now that this has been on my brows for about 5 minutes, it is like substantially darker than it was before. So now we're gonna wipe it off. So to do this, I'm gonna grab cotton rounds. I'm gonna have 2 of them. I'm gonna get them wet, about half of it wet, and I'm just gonna wipe off the dye. And I kind of do this in a way so it doesn't like smudge around my face too much. We're gonna do one at a time. I just feel like it's easier to like focus on getting all of the dye off. So now that we've gotten most of the dye off, I'm just gonna go in with a dry cotton round and then go over the brows. And this will just ensure that we get all the dye out of our brows. And then just to do a little nourishment for the brows, I'm gonna go back in with my rosebud salve and do just a little layer over them. I'm sure this is like totally not necessary at all, but it's something I've done since like the very beginning of tinting my own brows, and I just enjoy it. So I'm gonna grab my spoolie brush again, and I'm just gonna brush my brows up. Now would also be the time where like, if I'm gonna like tweeze or wax my brows or anything, I would do it now. I do my own brows at home. I just find that like I like them more when I have control of like doing the brows myself. So as you can see, they're definitely darker than they were before. And for me, this lasts about, I would say 2 weeks to my liking, and then I will just keep touching them up. But yeah, it's pretty easy to do. So like I said again, the products I use is the Reflectocil line, but I have used the Just for Men. And that's just not like any regular like pharmacy drugstore. And you just do it the same exact way. Like the same exact process of what I did, just you do it with that product and it's the same exact result. So if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope this helps. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.